Man, if you gonna destroy him for real. Him now. You gotta use the other side of the hammer, bro. Use the sharp part.
This is how I feel about these Gucci slides.
I'm mad I spent this much money on these bags. If they're saying that Birkins are being made in China, you already know that Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel,
all of them,
and everybody else is being made in China. That's why I am never impressed by all the money that people spend on these bags. Never be impressed, baby. Never be impressed, because your bag, our bags, was made in China.
One bag costs 6,150 from the boutique. The other 300 made by me.
Have you guys seen that TikTok video that the Chinese guy posted about exposing how luxury goods are made? Basically, most of the luxury brands we use every day are made in China, then shipped to Europe and sold to consumers at a premium. A wedding ring that we can buy for $2, they turn it into $2,000. China is the world's largest processing plant. You buy Gucci, 80% is made in China, Prada, 60% is made in China. Even Chanel, Fendi, Louis Vuitton, Adidas, Nike, etc. The only difference here is that...
Yo, in a way, I feel like we knew this already, though. You know, if you were in the shoe game, like if you were buying shoes and stuff like that, when they had replicas and all that kind of stuff, you used to always hear that saying that, oh, replicas are made at the same factory. You know, they're the defective Jordans that are just like they can't sell, so they sell them on another market for less so they can get some type of income. It's like we always knew this, but it's like I feel like people were in denial because they wanted the clout more than anything. And now that this is coming out, it kind of shows you like, yo, it was never about buying expensive stuff. It's about making inexpensive stuff look expensive. That's what fashion was all about. In my opinion, it was about taking stuff that were creative, being creative as a thinker, and making something look dope. That's fashion to me. I mean, at least when I was growing up.
Sends them to Europe and they put some little label on them that says made in France, made in Italy. It's ridiculous. While people are still criticizing H&M for being cheap and of poor quality, those expensive and good products that you think are made in France and Italy are actually from China.
It ain't no way we've been getting finessed like this, y'all. And China just exposed it all. So boom, Americans out here dropping 800, 1,200, and even 4,000 and more.
Chat, remember, we're dropping that money, and then we got a whole Klarna afterpay epidemic. So they're yo, can you believe people are paying still on items that cost not even half the price? Imagine buying a bag for $1,000 that's really $30 to make, and you're still paying on it.
On designer clothes, thinking it's all luxury, all high quality clothes, the high-end stuff. But China just pulled the curtain back and showed the world that most of the stuff is made in the same factories with material that costs a fraction of the price. So we're talking shoes that cost $30 to make, but it's being sold in US for $700. And we're talking hoodies that cost $10 to make, that's being sold for over $300. And jeans that cost $50 to make, that's being sold for $500 to $1,000. That's not high end. That's robbery, y'all. And this is the crazy thing.
It goes to show, like, we're not buying, like, one of the biggest things I always hear from people when they talk about we buy for quality, we buy designer for quality. You're not buying designer for quality. You're buying for marketing. You're buying whoever has the better marketing. That's what you're doing. You know what I mean? And when they're marketing their stuff, this is Gucci, this is Hermes, this is whatever. That's just the marketing that you're buying. It's all the same stuff, if not worse.
This is not even new. A lot of people just been blind to it. They think it just because it got a fancy label, that means it costs more. In reality, that just means the markups is better. China basically said, here y'all go. Now y'all better act like you know. And now everybody mad. They not mad at China. They mad at the brands that been overpricing this stuff they've been buying. They mad at the brands that they've been worshiping. They seeing now they were never buying quality. They were buying status. And they finally waking up. All of this happened because of this tariffs. People would have never knew.
Yeah.
Or some people was really too blind to even notice the fact. But now everything is front and center for everybody to see.
For years, you know, I like nice stuff, just like everybody else. I like to look good. You know, I'm an older man, so of course I got to keep my game right. And I thought I was really like, you know, making myself feel good because for the first time in my life, you know, after what I went through in my life, you know, I feel like I was on a come up. I feel like I was leveling up in life, you know. And so as time went on, I started buying Gucci, all kind of designer stuff, man. This is just, you know, this ain't even trying to boast, man. This is basically like, I feel like crap. But I still thank China for exposing everything. We already knew, especially me as an adult, that we do get overpriced for stuff when we go buy stuff. But just to find out that these shoes right here, I wore these in my intro on my YouTube channel 3 years ago, 4 years ago when I did my first intro, when I first hit 200,000 on my main channel on YouTube. And I paid $1,700 for these at the Gucci store. I found these online, man.
Bro, why though? Why though? Why 17? Why? Why would you need that for slippers anyway? I mean, also on a financial literacy tip, why? They reward themselves with designer clothes once they start making money. I mean, bro, you're increasing your spending as your money goes up. It's like on a financial literacy tip, it's a bad idea. And then like just hearing that makes me want to gag, bro. It makes me want to throw up that you spent so much money on some damn slippers, bro. Only to find out that slipper and the $40 slipper is no different. They were no different. The only difference is the packaging.
$9.99 in China.
Damn.
$9.
Not even $40, $9.
You know, and I wore these in my intro. And seeing what I'm seeing, how China exposed everything, it just really made me rethink of all the money that I threw away, you know. And so as time went on, I continued to buy more Gucci stuff. I never really bought a Gucci belt or like a Gucci hat or like the Gucci collared shirts. I never bought that type of stuff, but I really fell in love with the Gucci slides. So about a few months after the intro, I went on to buy these, which had became one of my favorite pair of Gucci slides. These were like $450 a few years ago. I found these same shoes in China, $1.57, man. $1.57 in China. It's a slap in the face, bro.
Yo, I appreciate him for being transparent. And what he's about to describe is something called brand loyalty. Like brand loyalty. These companies, they build this brand loyalty and you just keep coming back. It's like it's no different than a drug game, bro. They give you a hit and you just keep coming back because he feels the validation he gets for you don't get nothing back from it. Like it's like wearing Jordans. Like, you know, you could spend $300 on some Jordans or however, you know, you don't play retail. People that don't care about shoes nowadays, it's like you don't get nothing from it. But that one person that walks by, like, yo, are those the Jordan 5s? Are those the Jordan 11s? Like they give you that payback a little bit. They just gave you $20 in your head. Brand loyalty is wild, man. People would defend a company that wouldn't recognize them in a burning building. They wouldn't even save you.
The way China is spilling the beans on these luxury brands, okay. But the DH girls try to tell y'all. They try to tell y'all, okay?
When that Chinese man got on his app and said all the luxury items are made in China and they only go to Italy to have the tag put on it, the designer tag, and once that designer tag is put on it, now it can say made in Italy because only that small little percentage was actually made in Italy, but that's all it takes to say made in Italy. Now it makes it over here to our designer boutiques and we're spending thousands upon thousands of dollars for something that was in fact made in China, not Italy. I don't care how much you're spending on the thing. Chances are it is coming from China. The only part that was actually made in Italy was when they put the designer tag on there. And this is why the wealthiest of wealthy people buy inspired by items. Why? Why would you spend the whole thing? Listen, I did a whole.
It kind of reminds me of why, like, at one point, everything was coming out about celebrities and how, like, they wear a lot of fake stuff, and people was chewing up celebrities for that. Why would someone with all this money wear fake stuff? Because I feel like once you start to get into that world, you have enough money to try to make your own bags, etc. You might get to see behind the curtain. And what's behind that curtain? The truth. The truth is, like, it's probably no different. Just because an L is a little crooked off of a V, bro, it's from the same factory. That's how the fakes are so good. No one ever thought about why the fakes are so good.
Series on Birkins, and in one of the, you can see it in my like viral things I have pinned up there, but one of the videos was talking about the Birkin sort of like Tupperware party that all the wealthy Upper East Side women in New York have. They're not spending money on real Birkins. They're not shucking and jiving for Birkins. They call the people over in China and get the same things. Yeah, so if you know, you know, that people actually have Birkin connects direct to manufacturer. And that's how they're getting them made. But the wealthy people, the people who are not like going through the foolishness of the Birkin game, the people who could care less because they don't need to look rich. They're actually not trying to look rich because they are wealthy. That's the difference. Those are the people I'm talking about. But y'all,
if your TikTok is not full of Chinese content right now, then you are definitely lost, especially if you're into fashion or you're an online vendor or business owner. So apparently, because of the tariff wars going on between the United States of America and China, Chinese manufacturers are exposing the big brands. Adidas, Nike, Gucci, Dior, Louis Vuitton, name them. Chinese manufacturers are like, oh, tariffs, you say? Let's play this game. American people or everyone in the world, you like these big brands, right? Okay, their location is XYZ and Guangzhou. Their manufacturers are XYZ, and here are their products. I have literally seen Chinese manufacturers threaten big brands. I literally saw a video where this manufacturer said, you see that Chanel bag you buy in that boutique for $100, you can actually get it for $5 back here. So make the move. They are literally playing the Uno reverse card. Now, I do not know how this tariff war is going to end, but if it doesn't, it's going to be beneficial for us, Banku wearers, and it's going to cause a little problems. But I think everything will be fine eventually.
He was using your hard-earned money. Some people, their whole checks for the month, 500, 800, 1,000, 3,000, 6,000 for knockoffs. We're worth $15. This whole time you thought,
bro, people are spending mortgage money, bro, rent, more than that, down payments. Like the other guy said, small businesses on superficial things, man. It's a mentality issue, ultimately.
you were getting the best clothes from Italy. Nah, it was just knockoffs from China. And I'm kind of confused on why exactly they're doing this. It's really a slap in the face of the people that love design. A huge slap in the face. They're sending a message to the Americans like, you might as well not buy this. It's a waste of time.
Exactly, that's their plan. I mean, think about how it messes up the economy. Where we spend less money on Nike and all these American brands that are kind of robbing us in a way. Everyone robs you. Everyone is the enemy in a way. Like the number one thing should be your family as far as hoarding money and providing for your family. But they're basically telling us like, come buy from the seller, buy from us, come to China and buy from our stuff. Don't spend money on US things. They're making us snake our own government. That's basically what they're doing.
Time. I think I can see why the upper class don't buy designer. It's usually how they keep the poor people poor. How many young individuals die for designer? Literally, people have lost their lives to get designer. This can be a very good thing for the future, though. It's these huge, big corporations that keep the young people poor. Like, as soon as you get a little bit of money, you're going to give it to the higher-ups. I keep your money, bro. You was getting scammed this whole time. And the worst part about it is now if you want to sell it, people are going to be very hesitant to buy it. There's nothing wrong with liking designer, but just buy the fake stuff. Nobody going to know.
You know the tariff war is getting bad because ain't no TikTok in China. So how are they all landing on our FYP? Now, I know you've been seeing this guy all over your FYP. Well, he goes by the name of Sin Bags, and he's basically been exposing luxury brands, their costs, and how you can get these bags directly. Albeit you won't get the label, but you'll still get the quality material. And you've also probably been seeing this woman here. Well, she goes by the name of Luna, sourcing China, and she lets you know the distributors for some of your favorite clothing brands, including LuluLemon. Now, people have been trying to figure out, why are these people coming across FYP? Well, here's the thing. We've gone through a tariff war with the United States and China has started to reduce their regulations on a lot of things, which includes counterfeiting. If you guys didn't know, China is an authoritarian regime, and so they have strict guidelines when it comes to counterfeiting, because prior to all the tariff wars, they used to have a relationship with the US, and China used to honor patents as well as trademarks for a lot of these luxury brands until the trade war happened. And then they just said, F it. Now, before the trade war, we were still able to get those dupes from the gate, if you know what I will. But that's because most of those distributors hadn't got caught yet. Because again, prior, China had this like, if we don't see it, it's not occurring type of policy. But if they did see it, then they would be taken down. And that's why a lot of those gate Alibaba, AliExpress type of companies would often go down, and it'd be really hard to find those distributors again because they would get caught. And then they would have to come back and rebrand as a new name, even though they still had the same material. But now that those regulations have been dropped, you're going to start seeing a lot more of these distributors basically just selling directly to you. And what makes the story even more funny is that TikTok's not in China, y'all. It's not there. It's under a different subsidiary name, but it's not TikTok. And those apps don't cross. So the fact that you're seeing these videos makes it even more hilarious.
So China's taking on Donald Trump's tariffs in a way that a lot of people are not yet talking about. China is exposing a lot of the most luxury brands for being manufactured in China. And basically what China is saying is that you don't need to pay $10,000 for this bag or $100 for those leggings. You can get that bag for $100, those leggings for $5 from us. And essentially what this is doing is it's going to take the power away from those billionaires running the West and giving it back to the rest of us. We can make the decision of where we spend our money. And a lot of these brands, Prada, LuluLemon, Burberry, Armani, Dolce & Gabbana, Gucci, Michael Kors, Nike, all of these are just being exposed. And the fact that you can just go buy these direct from warehouse, and they're not actually as special as you think they are.
Yo, just imagine, like, I can't stop thinking about all the people that have payment plans on these things. Like, and you're just watching this now. Like, damn, like, I got a payment plan right now on this item. And like the guy with the 25 Gucci sandals, it's like, bro, I would want to dispute every single charge right now. Like, I don't know. It's just a crazy thing to even think about that. You have to even go through this. I don't know, chat. It's sad, man.
This is going to have some pretty big ripple effects.
America, that designer that you've been spending your money on, $200, $300, $400, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, all of your hard-earned money basically been going to knockoffs, if that's what y'all want to call them, Canal Street specials, if I might say. China is basically saying that your favorite designer gets their bags, their clothes, their shoes made in China, not Italy. So when you thinking you getting the finest of threads, you getting them from China. And now China is saying that they got them for the low, like they been had them, but they just not keeping it secret no more. So what they're saying is that designer that we've been wearing, they've been making, and they make them for cheaper, and we might as well not buy that designer that we've been buying. It's kind of strange to me because a lot of people been losing their lives to get designer. It's a lot of people that lost their lives over designer. And you're telling me that China's been making it? All I can say is this trade war is exposing the real from the fake and the fake from the real, if that makes sense. I'm out.
Are the brands we use every day overcharging us? My short answer is yes, and here's why. I believe that most people are aware of these, but for the people who may not know, what they reviewed is actually pretty shocking, because for products that are sold in hundreds or even thousands, actually just cost a fraction of a price to manufacture. So how does these brands justify such insane markups? It comes down to this: we are not buying the product, we are actually buying the story. Brands spend millions of dollars each year into marketing strategies designed to make us feel a certain way, be it making us feel more confident or giving us a sense of identity or even selling you a status. Remember, they don't just sell a product, they sell the results of you owning it. And because we attach emotion into what we buy, we often do not question the price we pay. We want to feel successful, we want to be stylish, we want to be somebody, and branding gives us this feeling. So the next time you buy something, think about what you're actually paying for. If it still makes sense to you, then sure, go ahead. But at least now you're
Honestly, think about it. There is no story that's worth spending 30 times the price of what it's made. There is no story. But like when you're looking at these bags, like what story of a guy in Italy making millions is gonna inspire you to spend $4,000 on something that costs 20? Like who wants to get finessed like that? If a plug came to you and said, "Oh, I got the best drugs in the world, and yeah, let me tell you my story of how I got it, and that's why you should pay this," bro. Bro, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna do that. Like, I don't know, man.
making a more informed decision.
So wait, let me get this straight. For years, we've been called conspiracy theorists about big corporations just slapping the Made in America or Made in France logos on everything. And all of these products were actually made in China. And now Chinese manufacturers, they are straight up exposing them. Posting videos, receipts, factory floor footage, it's all out there. Turns out that $800 handbag, that luxury artisan cookware, yeah, that all costs $7 to make in China. Your favorite woke corporation, they just slap their logo on it and sell it back to you for 100 times the regular price. And here's the kicker. The same corporations are out here crying about Trump's tariffs, claiming it would ruin business. No, what ruined business is out here lying to Americans while outsourcing jobs, exploiting labor, and well, pretending to be premium brand. Now, the Chinese manufacturers, they are cutting the middlemen and they are going straight to the source, the American people. Yes, you have to order in bulk, like 100 plus units. They're offering the transparency in the US that corporations are refusing to give. Here's the truth. Trump's tariffs, they didn't hurt the American consumer. They hurt globalist corporations who are overcharging Americans, all while profiting off of huge profits by cheap labor. And now they're getting exploited by the very factories they exploited themselves. So if you're a small business owner, this is your moment. You can work directly with suppliers, you can build your own brand, and cut all the corporate snakes out of the equation. Just know what you're doing, because not everything is worth buying in bulk. But hey, the opportunity's there, right? Tariffs didn't fail, greed did. And Trump warned us. Now it's all coming to light.
Come with me to check out China's biggest luxury wholesaler. Thanks to President Trump's recent tariffs, Chinese manufacturers for luxury brands like Hermes, Chanel, LV, etc. are coming out of the woods and offering direct sale to us peasants and the US at a pinch of the price. When you walk in, they hand you gloves because the goods you're about to handle are still the same top quality. I've never seen so many Hermes bags lined up in front of me, let alone try every size and color on like I'm in Walmart. Best part is there's no sales assistant stalking you, no upsells, and you're only paying 20% of the price. These only range from $250 to $500. That's a steal. Manufacturers are exposing luxury brands for what the bags actually cost. Now that Donnie's pissed off the peasants, all hell's broken loose.
There's just been lives of these people from China selling luxury goods, right? Chanel bags, Gucci bags, Louis Vuitton, Prada, Fendi, Hermes, like all these designer brands, right? Y'all, these accounts are getting banned in real time. I was literally just watching a live. I'm chatting, I'm commenting, I'm asking questions about the different bags behind them, and then all of a sudden the live just ends. I was like, oh, that's weird. So I go to their page, account banned. I don't know if this is some sort of retaliation against what China's doing, but it's crazy to see this happen in real time. And I'm honestly so sad that the live got clapped because there was 2 bags that I was about to get, and now I don't get a bag. Like, China's really out here being like, oh, okay, so you thought that Louis bag was from France. Nah, that shit came from us. Now they got me looking at my Louis bags like, Granted, these were gifted to me, so I didn't even pay for these, but like looking at it, I'm like, it says made in France, but I'm looking at it like, were you actually, or are you a lie? This whole thing got me just looking at my bags. Like this one I got in Italy, and it says, no, it says it in here. It says it on the thing, made in Italy. But again, were you actually made in Italy? Or were you made in China? Not that it actually matters, because like, look how cute this bag is. And I mean, I only paid $40 for this bag, and like,
$40.
Little bee thing.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's nice.
I really don't care where it comes from. Like this Louboutin bag.
Wait, that's how it should be though. It should be where it's like, I don't care where this comes from. You know, I don't care where this comes from. I like this item and that's why I bought it. And people try to say that for luxury goods, but at some point it becomes like, what are you paying for? But YouTube, I'm so glad you stuck with me. We live in a world where a bag can cost $3 to make and $3,000 to wear. And the only thing in between is a belief in brand status, story. And now China's basically flipping the camera on us. Y'all still believe that? They're making us question ourselves. Look in, but hey, I'm just one voice on the internet. What do you think? Hopefully this video brought some insight. Please like and subscribe. You have no idea how much that does. Trying to hit a 500 subscribers. Can we do that? I'm so glad you're here. Enjoy your day. Blessings to you.